ready for the fight. From the court to the field, they shine so bold. With every move, the stories unfold. We're cheering on the youth from the start to the win. Giving them the mic, let their voices begin. Interviews and highlights, we got it all. GN Sports Show, where the young stand tall. GN Sports, where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow, making waves today. From ages 5 and up, we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. GN Sports Show. GN Sports Show.
Good evening, viewers, and welcome to the 5th episode of Season 3 of the GN Sports Show. My name is Jonathan Thorogood, Administrative Assistant at GN Sports Global. Along with me is my co-host, Jayden Leandrew. Welcome back, Jayden.
It's good to be back.
And I'll also be joined by GNFC U13 player Lauren George, who will be co-hosting me for the first segment of the show. We have a packed lineup for our viewers tonight, as usual, starting off with two of our GNFC U13 players, Dominic Boatswain and Leyland Powell.
And from the Kota Shotokan Karate School, we have Sensei Iza Goodwin Michael, Sensei Sherilyn Zachariah, and students Joel Michael and Leah Goodwin.
We'll also have GNFC Hall of Fame player Jayden Goodman.
And also Billy Hughes, Manchester FC Academy Talent Scout.
And lastly, we'll have our special feature interview with Dr. Rick Millis, medical doctor at AUA. So we'd like to just take a quick commercial break to thank our sponsors. Stay tuned. We'll be right back. Our vision is to become the premier platform for showcasing and empowering young student athletes, providing them with the tools and exposure to excel both in sports and life, while shaping the next generation of confident, media-savvy leaders. The GN Sports Show is dedicated to highlighting the talent and stories of young student athletes across all sports disciplines. We aim to equip them with vital media exposure and public speaking skills, helping them grow into confident individuals both on and off the field. Through engaging interviews, mentorship, and real-world media experiences, we strive to foster personal and professional development that supports their athletic journeys. And we are back with the GN Sports Show. As you can see on stage with us, we have three of our young, talented Generation Next football stars. We have Dominic Boatswain, we have Leyland Powell, but we have a very special co-host here with me today, and it is Lauren George. Welcome to the show, everyone.
Welcome, everyone.
Thank you.
Yeah, welcome. So, Leyland, we're going to start off with you. How long have you been playing at Generation Next?
I've been at Gen X since last January, so I would say about a year.
Yeah, a little bit over a year.
Yeah.
And what position do you play?
I play striker in tournaments.
In tournaments. And what do you do in practice?
Sometimes I play left wing or midfield.
So you transition between the attacking and the
Yes.
midfield. Perfect.
And Dominic, how long have you been playing?
I've been playing from last year, September, so that'll be at least 7 months.
Oh, that's nice. What position do you play?
For games, I would play defense, specifically fall back, like left back and right back.
Of course.
And for training, I would sometimes goalkeep or a goalkeep if in training we do have a goalkeeper, or I would defend as normal.
You play defender.
That's nice.
Excellent. So, Leyland, what school do you currently attend?
I go to St. Nicholas Primary School.
St. Nicholas Primary. And what grade are you in?
Grade 6.
Grade 6. Do you have a favorite subject?
Probably math.
Mathematics.
Yeah.
Another mathematician. Okay.
And Dominic, what school do you attend?
I go to the Antigua Grammar School.
That's nice. Do you have a favorite subject?
My favorite subject is math.
Math as well?
Yeah.
So you have two mathematicians on stage.
First form, 1 and 2.
Oh, that's nice.
First form 1 year 2. Perfect. Leyland, so you said you go to St. Nicholas, correct?
Yes.
Do you have a favorite teacher?
I wouldn't say so, but probably since my grade 6 teacher helps me out with the national assessments, it'd probably be my grade 6 teacher, Miss McCool.
Miss McCool, okay. So Leyland is shouting out Miss McCool if you're watching.
Yeah.
And do you have a favorite teacher?
I have two favorite teachers actually. My homeroom teacher, Mrs. Smith, is also my music teacher, and my social science teacher, Mrs. Pond, and my math teacher, Mr. Colin Ford, who also is a referee.
Oh, that's nice. I bet all the teachers must be proud to see you here on TV.
Excellent, excellent. So, Leyland, who inspired you to play the sport?
Probably my dad, because he's the one who got me involved with the sport, like who signed me up, because
Yeah.
my first club was North Coast, but now they changed the name to Mount Pleasant.
Yeah.
So he was the one who signed me up for that sport, so then I got started with football.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
And since then, you moved over to Generation Next.
Yes.
Yeah. So, you want to give a shout out to your dad for starting you up?
Yeah.
Shout out to Mr. Powell.
And who inspired you to start playing football?
My dad too. I started out at Villa Lions Academy when I was like 5 years old, and then I went to North Coast with Leyland, also
Nice.
known as Mount Pleasant, and then I came here to Gen X.
So,
Well,
both y'all decided to come over together?
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. You want to shout out to your dad?
Yeah.
So, Leyland, we're speaking a bit about football. Do you have a favorite football team?
I don't really watch football like that. I like the sport to play it, but
Yeah.
I don't watch it like that.
Okay.
So I couldn't really say that I have a favorite football team, but I do support Gen X because that's my club that I go to.
Excellent answer. Excellent, excellent.
And do you have a favorite football team?
I don't really, in person, have a favorite football team, but I like many football teams because I like to watch football. But my favorite football team would be Gen X, of course.
Great answer, great answer. And Leyland, do you have a favorite player?
This is gonna sound very basic, but like one of the most populars, I do like Messi a lot. But I used to like Ronaldinho when I was younger too.
Excellent. Classic Brazilian legend, yeah? Excellent.
And do you have a favorite player?
Yeah, this is very basic too. It's gonna be Ronaldo. He's better than everybody. And it could also be Pele too. I believe that they're very good.
Some good answers.
Both of them, yeah. So, Leyland, what do you want to be when you get older?
Well, there's three things. If football is good at, I would love to be a footballer. And in studying wise, school wise, I either want to be a doctor or maybe study business.
Excellent, excellent.
And what do you want to be when you grow up, Dominic?
There are three things too. I want to be a mechanic because my dad, he teaches me a lot of stuff about that.
Excellent.
I want to be football. If I become professional, and it'd be business too. My mom has talked to me about making my own business.
Making your own business to be an entrepreneur.
Yes.
Excellent, excellent. So we'd like to just thank Leyland and Dominic for being on the sports show with us. We really appreciate it. Continue striving for your goals, and I'm sure we'll see you sometime here again soon, right?
Yeah.
And we'd also like to give a special thank you to my co-host, Lauren George. Thank you so much, Lauren. You did an excellent job today.
Thank you. I had a great time doing it.
And I hope to see you here again with me soon as well, yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. We'd like to just take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
And Sports Show.
Welcome back to the GN Sports Show. We have a special guest with us today, GNFC Hall of Fame player Jayden Goodman. Welcome to the show, Jayden.
Thank you for having me.
No problem. We have a trio of GNFC Hall of Famers here today on set.
Of course.
Looking good.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
Getting straight into our questions here for you about your football career so far. You started playing football at just 4 years old with your uncles. Would you say those experiences shaped your love for the game and influenced the way you play?
Yeah, I would say yes because I would not be able to get the ball. They would always keep it from me.
Yes.
So, yeah, I would say yeah, there was early experience.
So seeing how well they did,
Yeah.
you watched them and you wanted to get
yeah,
there as well.
I wanted to get to that level.
Yes.
So,
And
I
of
had
course,
to
we
work
all
hard.
know you need to play against bigger people. It's better practice for you.
Yeah.
To play
Yeah.
against people that
Yeah.
are small, you're not really learning anything. Are you?
Yeah,
Yes.
Of
that's
course.
so true.
Yeah. So obviously you played in some major tournaments recently, like the Gothia Cup and the Super Copa.
Yeah.
What was your most memorable moment on the field so far?
For both of them or just
Yeah,
one?
you can do one. You can do both of them.
Okay, for both of them. Okay, so I'll start with Super Copa.
Yeah.
Super Copa, we beat the best ECNL team in the country.
Excellent.
And I scored 2 goals against them to win the game. Well, basically to win the game because it was 3-2. So
Oh.
I helped my team come back. And yeah, that for Super Copa. Gothia Cup, I scored the most goals as the youngest player out of all the age groups.
Yeah.
So I would say that I scored 4 or 5 goals, I think.
Nice.
Yeah, around that.
Yeah.
And I would say I'm really happy with that
Yeah.
because not a lot of players get that experience.
Of
So I'd
course.
say I'm happy with that. But
Hope
yeah,
that
those are my
opportunity.
most memorable opportunities.
Top striker.
Yeah, I can say that.
I like to hear
Say
that.
So you
Good
always
stuff.
play strike?
No, I mean, recently I've been playing left wing.
Okay.
So, because the coach realized that I like to dribble, so they put me on the wing.
So you can beat the defender, cross the ball, or cut in, take a shot.
Yeah, and I'm really fast. So,
Of course.
yeah, I would say I play left wing and strike. Sometimes strike though. I'm mostly focusing on left wing now because I want to get better at that position because I feel like I have a connection with it.
Okay.
That's all.
So if you had to choose one, you would choose to play left wing.
Definitely.
So joining Brookhouse Academy was a big step towards your dream of going pro.
Yeah.
How has that environment pushed you both academically and athletically?
Academically, I'll start with academically because schoolwork first, according to my mom.
Yes, of
So
course.
academically, I would say Brookhouse shows you that, okay, so first, so if you're not on top of your work, you won't be able to train, and I say that's a life lesson too,
Yes.
because in real life, say, if you don't do your job, you'll get fired. So let's just put it as that.
Yep.
And so football-wise, I would say taught me to just play. Don't complain because, don't have an attitude. Coach is not going to deal with that.
Yep.
Just play your game, be smart, don't get mad at mistakes, just be humble and just say, hey, I'll get it next time.
Yeah.
So I would say Brookhouse showed me to push myself on and off the field, no matter what it is, and just be confident and just work hard working. So I would say I want to thank Brookhouse for that.
You give
That's
big
a
shout
lovely
out to
lesson that
Brookhouse.
they're teaching you.
Yep, very
Yes.
good.
Excellent. So Jayden, you've played for top tier teams, obviously like Generation X,
Yeah.
one of the tops.
Yeah.
You've also played for Icons Elite in the USA and also Orlando City, which is MLS 2, yeah?
Yeah.
Which is some great achievements. Congratulations to you. Have you had to adapt your game across the different teams and playing styles? Obviously, you grew up here in Antigua, you've played Generation X and so
Yeah,
on.
I mean, yes, the play style here is way different from overseas. Very different. Overseas, it's way more running than here, I would say. Way more running.
Yeah.
Coaches, I'm not saying that the coaches here are on your back because I think one coach that was on my back too, you remember Coach Nabu?
Of course,
Yeah,
yes,
that's
yes.
one coach. So
Yeah.
I would say yes, I did have to because when I was my first game overseas, I played with Winter Park FC.
Okay.
And I was like, wow, well, I'm not used to this. So I was trying to learn and I had to deal with a lot of things. So yeah.
You have to get accustomed to
Yeah.
that environment over there. Yes,
Yeah, I
a lot
had to
different.
change my play styles a lot, especially playing with Orlando City and playing with Orlando City and playing with Icons. I had to change my play styles a lot because it's different coaches. So
Yes, of
yeah, I
course.
would say I had a lot of experiences dealing with it. So eventually, I just learned how to deal with it.
Yeah.
Just play the game.
Yeah.
Just work with whatever play style the coach has and not complain.
Excellent. Excellent.
So you adapt to every coach you have.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because
They
there's
expect
good
different
coaches, bad coaches. I wouldn't say there's bad coaches though. There's some coaches that are just different. So I
Yeah.
wouldn't say there's bad coaches, but one thing I never used to like the coaches that shouted at me, and that's
Yeah.
crazy. And those are the coaches that I love the most now.
Yeah.
Because if it
Wow.
wasn't for them, I don't think I would be where I'm at today.
Yes, because they
Exactly.
push you beyond
Yeah.
where you thought your limits were.
Yep.
Yep.
Definitely.
So being inducted into the GNFC Hall of Fame this year is a huge achievement. What does this recognition mean to you, and how does it motivate you going forward?
It means a lot to me because it definitely means a lot to me because I never thought I'd be able to get
Yeah.
that, and I never thought I would be where I am today. And I want to really thank Coach Ricky too because he helped me a lot. He gave me a lot of opportunities, opened
Yes.
up my eyes, gave me a lot of good advices, stuff like that. So yeah, I would say I'm really thankful for this Hall of Fame. Very thankful. And from now on, moving on, I would say keep me pushing harder to maybe stay in the Hall of Fame.
Of course.
Of course.
So yeah, I would say it just keeps me focused and know that I have things looking forward to.
Yeah, of course.
Look
of course.
forward to. Yeah.
So looking ahead to the Youth World Cup in Gothenburg this July,
Yeah.
how are you preparing and what are your personal goals for this tournament?
I'm preparing by training from on Monday to Thursdays from 5. Well, actually, I wouldn't say 5 because they told last time they told me 5. It started at 7. But, so I would just say so I train from Monday to Thursday. I've been working on a lot of technical work because that's just me dribbling, shooting. I don't really work too much on because I just feel like it's just there,
Yeah.
I don't think it's that hard to strike a ball. I think a lot of people think it's about power, but it's most about placement.
Correct.
So I would say I've been doing a lot of technical work because the positions I get in the game is dribbling. So
Yes,
I
of course.
work on that.
You
So
wanna
yeah,
work
that's
on
how I've
those
been
to get
working towards
perfect.
Gathia Cup. Just staying focused, going to my trainings, and drinking a lot of water.
Good.
That's all.
To stay hydrated.
Stay
yeah.
hydrated.
Of course. Perfect.
So how are you balancing both football and school?
Okay, so I do virtual school,
Okay.
so it's not that hard. I think if I wasn't doing virtual school, it'd be quite more difficult.
Yeah.
But I just balance by basically. So we're not allowed to do more than. Okay, so there's weekly work. You're not allowed to go past the weekly work, and I just go past it. And my teachers kind of understand me. Only like most of my teachers understand me because they know sometimes I'll get carried away.
Yeah.
And I don't want to leave my schoolwork there, and I won't have time. And then it's last minute, then it's due, then I fail, and all of that. Then my GPA drops, and you need a good grades for football.
Yeah. Of course.
especially if you want to go to college or something like that. So
So you try to stay ahead of it.
Yeah, I basically what I do is I just do 2 weeks worth of work and then just rest.
Yes.
And then when the 2 weeks is over, do the next 2 weeks worth of work, then rest and just so while all the work's done, and I just focus on football.
As long as you're getting it done and you're
Yeah.
getting the grades
That's
to
all that
keep playing,
matters.
that's lovely.
As you say, you have to have that balance. Yeah.
Yep, have to
You have
definitely.
to. So Jayden, we spoke a little bit about your football already. Do you have any other hobbies that you like?
Golf.
Golf. You
I
like
didn't
golf?
actually. That's one of the sports I never thought I would like.
Yeah.
Golf. Golf's really fun. I don't know what I'm doing, but I just know to hit the ball. so I would say golf.
When did you pick up golf?
Okay, so it was weird actually. I was very bored. I was at this family reunion. I had to stay with the host family, and it was just bored. I didn't know what to say because it's
Yeah.
not my family. They were invited. I mean, I'm thankful for them inviting me to their family, but
Of course.
it's not my family. And I went outside. I saw this big golf stick. I don't know. I forgot what it was called. It's the one you hit it far away and it makes a loud noise.
A driver or something.
Yeah,
like
driver,
that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And I picked it up and I just started I saw a golf ball and I just started hitting a bunch of golf balls, and I was like, wow, this is fun.
Yeah.
And I was just hitting them into the lake, and after that I just loved golf.
Fell in love with it
Yeah, because I like the sound of the driver.
when it's
When
hitting
you hit the ball, yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so I say
excellent.
golf.
Golf is a nice sport, and it's nice and calming as well, especially dealing with the stresses of football every
Yeah.
day.
Yeah.
Sometimes to get to go off and just play a little golf, it helps clear your mind and stuff, relax. Yeah.
I like the fact that you have to wear a certain type of clothes when you're going golfing too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so you
it
feel
makes
kind of fancy.
Yeah,
Yeah.
a little button-up shirt.
Yeah.
Khaki pants, simple.
You feel good, innit?
Yeah, I feel great.
Of course.
So lastly, would you like to shout anyone out?
My mom, Coach Ricky, and Coach Laurie Dudfield, those who I would like to shout out. They basically do everything for me, and I thank y'all and appreciate y'all to the max.
Excellent. Excellent.
Thank you so much, Jayden, for coming out and speaking us with today, and we
course.
wish you the best going forward in your football career. With that being said, we are going into a quick commercial break. We'll be right back.
Thank you so much.
Sports Show.
And welcome back to the GN Sports Show. We have a very special overseas interview for you guys this evening. We will be speaking with Manchester City's FC Academy scout, Billy Hughes. Welcome to the GN Sports Show, Billy.
Good evening.
Good evening.
Good evening, perfect. And thank you for taking the time out for being here with us this evening. So we'll just get straight into it, Billy. We've read up that you've been coaching for over 40 years, which is absolutely amazing. That's tremendous. What keeps your passion alive for working with the young players?
Giving them the opportunity. Someone gave me an opportunity when I was their age.
Of course.
Kept me out of trouble. So, hey, it's my time to pay back. Give back to the community. Oh, go.
Yeah, of course, that's one of the main things, obviously, that we try and do down here as well, is always try and give back to the community. Of course, coming from the Caribbean, we try and give as many opportunities for them as we can because we don't have those opportunities down here, So that is absolutely excellent.
So, Mr. Hughes, what do you look for when you're scouting talent? I know it might change based off of player positions and particular things. We're trying to figure out particular things that you look for in every footballer.
Every football. Wow, that's a hard one. But you know what? As long as they can play and they understand the concept of the game, because football is about team play. And
Yes,
if they can't
of
do
course.
that, they're no use to me. They got to be able to communicate You know what I mean? And work together.
Yes, of course.
Of course, they have to
Yeah,
have
but
that
as long as
chemistry, don't
they got that commitment and desire to perform, you know, and work together as a team, that's fine.
Yes. Okay.
they? As we said, working on that chemistry, innit?
Yes,
yeah,
the
you have
chemistry
to have the
and
chemistry.
having the teamwork.
Exactly. So Billy, we've read up that you've played at Wembley twice, which must have been I can't even imagine how it must have felt for you to be playing at Wembley Stadium. How have those experiences influenced your coaching?
Well, obviously, I mean, you'll tell the young people about your history, you know, but it's just memories to me now. You know what I mean? If they get that far, they've done well.
Yeah,
You
of
know,
course.
They've done very well. You know what I mean? Obviously, I didn't make it big as professional, but I was a semi-pro and I've done quite well. So, you know what I mean? I have to thank my parents for bringing me to this country, and I learned from it. And at the end of the day, I can walk around with my head high.
Of course, you got the opportunity and you took it. Yeah, of course.
Yep, I had no choice.
How does it feel seeing top talents like Cole Palmer and Phil Foden, who you've helped develop, make it to the highest level?
Yo, mate, see me, I'm proud when them boys see me. I mean, they're all over me like a rash. But, you know, they're doing well, they're helping their family. And hopefully, I think Cole will be going to St. Kitts once this Club World Cup thing finished. He wants to try and get down there for a week with his family. So hopefully I'll bump into him because I'll be out there next month myself.
Oh, that'd be lovely.
It's a pity I'm not coming across to Antigua though. Sorry about that, guys.
I know.
Maybe sometime in the future.
Yes, we definitely have to try and set it up.
Hey, you know, that won't be an issue. I can work with that.
So, Billy, we know that you have managed several youth teams over the years. What do you think is the key to creating a successful grassroots football program?
First of all, you got to be a leader. You got to know how to talk to the kids. These young people today, they're different than when we were kids. Well, when I was a kid anyway. You know, they want everything just like that, but it don't happen. You have to realise they got to work to achieve. You know, and if you're leading these kids in the right direction, don't forget, my background's in youth work. You know, so I was in youth work for about 15, 20 years. You know, working with, there's a lot of issues around in Moss Side, Manchester, where I was raised.
Right.
And I was dealing with all that issues. You know, and these are young people. But fortunate for me, I grew up with their parents, so life was quite easy for me to get to know them kids. You know, it's a hard task.
Tough, can imagine, yeah.
So speaking more about your career, what role did you play with the Anguilla under-20 boys team?
I was the head of youth development.
Youth development.
Yeah, but unfortunately my dad took ill. You know, they didn't give me an opportunity to say, go and look after your dad and come back. So I had to resign. You know, it wasn't about money, it was about my dad's health. And unfortunately passed away. You know, but my heart goes out to them. I wish them all the best.
Yeah.
You know, but obviously, I mean, when my dad took ill, that's my responsibility. Nobody else.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You
And
know,
how did that
it would
come
have been
about?
nice. Well, I was in St. Kitts looking after my dad when he had cancer. So I took time out of work. Mansi gave me the opportunity to go down and look after my dad. And I was there, and I've got a younger brother who lives out there. But, you know, a friend of mine from Anguilla, because we got family in Anguilla, he just mentioned it. He said, oh, do you mind if I tell him that you're here? I don't mind. Anyway, next day I got a phone call. Asked me, can I come over for like 5 days? So I made sure the old man was comfortable, got someone in to look after him with my brother, and I went across. They offered me a job to take him to Dominican Republic in the under-17 tournament, you know, which I did, and, you know, a year or so later, they contacted me and said, yeah, they'd like to have me on a 2-year contract.
Well, that's lovely. You've been snatching up the opportunities.
Exactly.
Yeah, but years ago, I was in St. Kitts with the Bobby Charlton opening the stadium. You know, that's how I met the reporter at the time, was Colin James. Yeah, Colin James. Yeah, and that's my contact with Antigua. So, you know what I mean, Colin's always in touch.
So Billy, can you tell us about some of your hobbies that you would have outside of football, if you do have any?
Well, let me see. Let's see. Well, used to play badminton. Love badminton. Played cricket. I like cycling, off-road cycling.
Excellent.
You know, and a bit of DIY on my cars.
Excellent. So you have a couple different hobbies there, of course. And how do these hobbies help keep you balanced as a coach and a mentor?
I'll put it this way. You know what I mean? I'm not flashy. You know what I mean? What you see is what you get with me. You know, and I'll tell these youngsters, I mean, who's making loads of money now, I mean, first thing you do, invest in your family, but get yourself a house.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's not about gambling, it's about your security, lifelong. These are all life skills. You know what I mean? So these kids got to wake up and smell the coffee quickly, because you can have a bad injury and that's you out of the game.
Correct. You always have to have that plan B. Of course.
So let's talk about Vaughn Jackson Jr., a player that we know is from Antigua and went through the ranks at Generation Next. What stood out to you during his performance in the showcase match at Man City?
What show? Well, I was just watching him in the warm-up. I was impressed by his movement. You know, once the game kicked off, it was like he got a ball, I think he ran about 25 yards. And he just hit this ball and it was like, yo, what's going on here? Anyway, the ball ended up in the back of the net.
That's lovely. That's what we love to hear.
I loved his movement up front. You know what I mean?
Of course, yeah.
Yes, he did well. You know what I mean? So, yeah, he scored a good goal. He did well. Then I was trying to find out who he was. And then I was told he's from Antigua. So I sent a picture to Colin asking him, who does he know this boy?
Vaughn is definitely an excellent talent. He's come through the Generation Next ranks, and you know he has done exceptionally well. We are very proud of him.
Yeah, but can I ask a question? Do you guys, ever thought about getting a group of your talented youngsters and organise a tour to the UK or in Europe, play against some of the teams at their academy base? You know, where people can have a proper look at the kids from the Caribbean.
Yes, we've sent a couple of teams up to the UK already. We're actually sending a couple boys up here in about a week and a half, I think, to Ackworth School, where they will be doing some trials and training there at the school. And we've also done combines. We do combines here in Antigua as well, sponsored through the Calvin Ayre Foundation, where we bring different scouts from the US and from the UK to Antigua to offer scholarships or potential professional contracts to players here in Antigua. So hopefully, Billy, we can have you come down here for one of those combines next year.
I'll see where I am in the world. You know, I'll just have to see where I am because. Yeah, I mean, if I'm not here, I'll be in the Caribbean.
Yes, of course. And we're supposed to be sending also an under-15 team up to Millfield in October. So hopefully, when we're up there, we can try and link up with you.
Oh, that's definitely not a problem. Because I think Ricky said he was coming up to England in June, and I've organised. Me and him can meet up here at the academy.
Yes.
Yeah, we can meet up at the academy, and have a chat.
Of course. And I'm sure he's quite excited to get to meet you, Billy.
It'd be nice meeting him.
Yes, of course.
Thank you so much, Billy, for taking the time to speak with us today at the GN Sports Show. We wish you all the best going forward, and we hope to see you in Antigua at some point in the future.
Well, I appreciate you getting in touch, and it was nice talking to you guys.
No problem.
All right, guys. Cheers anyway. Have a good evening.
Thank you, Billy. We appreciate it. Take care. We'd like to just take a quick commercial break. We'll be right back. And welcome back to the GN Sports Show. We have two of our senseis here with us at the table from the Kota Shotokan Karate School. We have Sensei Iza Goodwin Michael and also Sensei Sherilyn Zachariah. Welcome to the GN Sports Show.
Thank you.
So we'll just start off with Sensei Iza Goodwin Michael. So you have begun karate here in Antigua as a teen, but you've since trained in multiple countries. How would you say this exposure and diversity has shaped your approach to practicing and teaching karate?
Well, so Shotokan Karate, it's originated in Japan, and it is taught the same way no matter where in the world you go. So we might hear that as students, but you don't really understand that until you travel around the world and you see that you're learning and doing the exact same thing. And that's what I like.
Yes.
I like that you feel sort of at home and comfortable regardless of where you go.
Yes.
And so although I have trained in other countries, yes, there are slight differences. The dojo is completely different.
Can imagine.
You know, we meet new people, that's great. It's always
Yes.
good to meet new people. And it might have some slight differences, you know, I think maybe most of the difference would probably be in how we do the sparring.
Okay.
Might be slightly different, not very different, but
Yeah.
I wouldn't more notice some slight differences there. But the basic techniques are exactly the same, katas are exactly the same, and I like that.
Yes.
I like there's a comfort in that, you know.
So as an instructor, is it easier for you to train the kids since it's something that you're following, like let's say a certain practice session that you have to follow with them?
Right. It's I would say it's easy because it's the same. I would teach them the same way that I was taught.
Right.
Knowing very well that it's effective and it's the way that karate is taught. I go wherever I go, it's taught the same way.
Taught the same.
Basically, that's how it's taught. It's effective.
We did a little bit of a demonstration before the interview here with the two of your two students. Can you give us a little brief explanation of what exactly they were demonstrating for us?
Okay, should I go ahead or you want to jump
Either
in
one.
here? Well, I could say how they start and you could say how they finished.
Oh, okay, go ahead.
Okay, so the first thing, as you would notice, they did basically two exercises. So the first exercise would have been a kata.
Okay.
Right, so kata is the basic basic techniques in the sequence of a imaginary fight. Like
Okay.
so you would have been doing the moves as if you have multiple opponents attacking you and you're defending yourself, and also maybe doing some attacking techniques. So this kata that they did is the Yondan, which is the green belt kata. So each stage at the belts, as the colored belts go up, they have a kata assigned to their belt,
Okay.
and that one is the green belt kata.
Okay.
So that's the first thing that they did, and that's essentially in a
The
second.
second thing they did was the committee.
Committee.
That's the sparring.
Okay.
Okay.
But because of their belt, they were doing like one-step sparring.
Okay.
They
okay.
weren't doing the real physical
Yes.
fighting as we would do as a brown and black belt.
Right.
Oh, okay.
So obviously as the levels of the belts go
They
up, it
have-
gets more
they're
intense.
different, yes, yes.
Okay, completely understood.
Yeah.
Well, that's excellent. That was excellent, and it was a great demonstration for us. Well done to the kids again, and
Yeah,
well
they
done
did
to
a
you all
great
as
job.
senseis. Excellent job, excellent.
And leading off of that, as an instructor at Kota Shotokan Karate School, what core values or lessons do you most hope to pass on to your students?
Okay, I try my best to instill that they, no matter whatever they're doing, they do it to the best of their ability, even if nobody is looking. I like to
Yes.
say, even if nobody is looking, you do your best.
That's a lovely
that's
lesson, yes.
that's the first thing, and the next thing is like try to improve every day. Try to get better every day.
That's why you show up. 'Cause you want to get better.
Definitely.
Practice
Yes.
makes perfect, of course.
Yes, for
Yeah.
sure.
So you might have to help me out with this one. You won the gold in the women's commute at the Caribbean Karate Championships in 2001,
Right.
which obviously is a remarkable achievement. Can you share a bit with us what that moment meant to you?
Right. Okay, so for those who don't know, women's kumite is fighting, it's the sparring.
Okay.
Right? The thing with me, I always tried to win with the kata. But I ended up winning the sparring, and in that particular tournament, Antigua was hosting.
Okay.
We do katas first and then we do kumite.
Nice.
And to me, and I think to all of us on that team that year, it's like we're hosting Antigua needs a win.
Of course.
It wasn't even about me. I'm sure the other team members would probably say the same thing. It wasn't about them. It's like we're doing this for Antigua. Antigua needs a win. And that year, that tournament, it wasn't only I that got a goal. I got the overall goal for the women's committee, but our team, the girls' team, the women's team, we got the overall goal too.
That's excellent.
So we were very, very pleased about that.
That's excellent. Congratulations to you and the women's team.
Thank you.
You did Antigua proud.
We really did.
And just feeding off of that, how did that influence your path in, let's say, karate afterwards?
Well, to me, that really brought home the point. That really showed me that when you put in the work, that you see results. So that's why I can always go and say to my students, you do your best, you put in the work, you go the extra mile, you push yourself until you can't push anymore, you know what I mean? And then you will see you will get what you worked for.
Of course.
So as we know, karate is known for instilling discipline and focus. Can you share an example of how these qualities help students to overcome challenges outside of martial arts?
To me, the biggest example, especially even looking back, reflecting on my life, would probably be in academics, because academics is a big part of life, growing up, building the foundation.
Yes.
And it can be quite rigorous, especially when you get to the college and university, and it's tedious. I went to university and it was long hours, days of no sleep.
I can imagine, yeah.
And the focus has to be there, the dedication has to be there, and I would think that karate would have helped to lay the foundation for that.
Yeah, that's perfect.
Yeah. So looking back on nearly 3 decades of your involvement in karate, which is absolutely amazing, what has kept you motivated and passionate about art all these years, karate all these years?
The motivation changes. It's not the same today as it was 30 years ago. But I think the one thing that probably motivates me most throughout the years, as is probably teaching. I love to teach karate.
Nice.
I like especially to work with the children.
Yes.
Right, and so that's one motivating factor for me. That's why I always I never really stopped, not for very long, But then the teaching part is what I love.
You love to teach.
And I also like, especially in life in general, to keep fit. So that's another motivating factor, just for me personally, to keep fit. So between the two, that's what it is.
Is there a certain age group you love to train?
I like to work with the children, but I train any age group. I can train any age. We say up to 99, right? I work with adults, I work with children, but I love to work with the children.
Okay, that's lovely.
That's excellent. So we'll move over to Sensei Sherilyn Zachariah. Welcome to the show again, Sherilyn.
Thank you.
So a fun fact about you, you started karate as an adult, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay. What inspired you to do this?
Well, I took my son to karate, and I normally sit outside there and wait for him. And the things that they were doing, I said, I'm here sitting for an hour waiting, I could go in. So the following year, I decided I was going to join. So I joined.
Excellent.
Wow.
Excellent. And what would you say were some of the biggest challenges joining that late?
Well, as for someone started my karate journey late, I did not face any challenges because it's something I wanted to do.
Yeah.
And I keep training, and that's how I become a black belt for today.
Once you keep showing up and you're putting in the work,
yes,
you get the outcome.
Excellent.
Yes,
As we say, practice makes perfect.
Yes, and that's what I did.
Excellent.
I never miss a class day. All it's raining, I'm there.
Oh, lovely. So reaching a 4th degree black belt, that's a major achievement. What keeps you motivated?
As for my background, and simply saying, right? Basic, which is kumite, kata, sparring, is part of my lifestyle.
That's lovely. So you started and you never gave up?
Never
kept
gave
going?
up, just kept going and going and going.
And you keep getting those belts going up, going up.
Yes.
That's what we love to hear.
And putting the hard work too, it's not easy work.
And it's shown, as you say, you've gotten your 4th degree black belt, so it has shown that you put in the dedication and the time.
Yes.
Absolutely excellent. So just karate, we've been speaking about it before. I think Iza had mentioned it before. Karate is known to benefit the mind, the body, and the spirit. Was there a moment in your journey where those benefits stood out for you?
Well, yes. It keep me focused, calm, especially in situations. Right? And it also helps to keep my body in physical condition.
Yes.
Right?
Of
and
course.
also keep me healthy.
Yes. Which is the most important, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So how long ago was the leadership of Kota Shotokan Karate School passed down to you?
Over a year and about 6 months now.
A year and 6 months.
Yeah.
And you've been enjoying it ever since?
Yes.
What does that mean to you personally?
Well, my students is like my children and my grandchildren right now.
Yes.
And I'm honored that my sensei entrusted me to teach his former student, and I strive to represent him well.
So do you normally work with the kids? Or do you
Yes.
do all age groups?
Kids.
The kids.
Any age group.
Okay.
Any age group.
Excellent. So mentorship plays a big role in martial arts. How has your relationship with Sir Claire Roberts influenced your path as both a student and a teacher?
Okay, well, I think mentorship is very important, extremely important.
Of course.
Because a student might find it hard to understand the move and might want to give up.
Right.
Yes.
So a mentor would assign to them like emotionally to be like a leader to that student, to
Yes.
encourage them to continue.
Yes.
And my relationship with Sensei also based on mentorship because he has encouraged me and always teaching me new katas.
Excellent.
So that tells me that I'm never too old
To learn.
To
You're learning
learn.
every day. That is excellent. And just going off of that, what's one message or mindset that you hope to pass on to your students, especially those who may be starting karate later in life, just like you did?
It's like once you dedicate and put in the work, you can achieve anything you want in life.
Yeah.
Never too old.
Never too old.
And I like what you said about the mentorship, because these kids need to know that when you're practicing something, you're gonna fail sometimes.
Yes.
But you need to get back up and try again and give it your all, and then you'll eventually get it.
Yes.
Excellent. Yes. Well, again, to both of our senseis, thank you so much for taking the time and being on the GN Sports Show with us. We really do appreciate it.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Welcome back to the GN Sports Show. I have here with me Joel Michael and Leah Goodwin of the Kota Shotokan Karate School. Welcome to the show.
Thank you.
No problem.
Excellent.
So going right into our questions about your paths in karate thus far, starting with you, Joel. What age did you start karate?
At 5.
5 years old. That's lovely. And do you have any memories of your early years in karate, like when you first started? Who took you? Your parents?
My mom.
Yes.
Your mom took you?
Okay, and it must have been interesting having your mom as an instructor doing karate. How did that make you feel?
Made me feel safe. And comfort.
Yes, you
Comfortable.
feel comfortable, right?
Having your mom
there?
right there with you, right?
Of course.
Yes, that's
Of course.
lovely.
So, Joel, we were told that sparring is your favorite part of karate. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, perfect. And can you tell us why that is? Why do you like sparring so much?
Because you can learn different types of techniques and you will learn to defend yourself.
Defend yourself, perfect. Is there any techniques that you can let us know about sparring? You said that you learn different techniques. Is there a technique that you know? Off the top of your head, anything that you do that you know that you do when you're sparring?
My Gary.
My Gary? Excellent.
How did it feel when you earned your green belt?
It felt nice.
It's a big achievement, right?
Yeah,
That you finally
it's a
get
big
your green
accomplishment.
belt, yeah.
Did you celebrate in any way?
No.
No?
No, you didn't celebrate at all. You weren't excited?
What goals do you have for your next belt?
Helping the class and teaching the class.
Oh,
help
that's
to
a
teach the
lovely
class,
goal.
yeah?
You want to eventually start teaching. Okay, that's lovely.
What's the most important lesson that you've learned so far in karate? You've been doing it for a couple of years now. What's the most important lesson that you've learned from your sensei?
To control yourself and have discipline.
Discipline. Excellent. Excellent answer. Excellent.
So how do you balance school and karate?
Well, my school finishes at 2, so I would do, and karate starts at 5. So between those 3 hours, 2, 3, and 4, I would do my homework. If I had a little spare time, I would play a little bit, and I would feed my cats and dogs.
Excellent.
That's lovely. So you balance it well with school and karate and doing your homework and still having fun.
Yeah.
That's great.
Speaking about school, what school do you attend?
St. Michael's Primary School.
St. Michael's Primary School. And do your friends know about your karate skills at St. Michael's? They know that you have a green belt?
Some.
Some of them do?
Yeah.
Yeah? Do you have any of your friends that you want to shout out at St. Michael's? You want to say hi to any of your friends?
No.
None at all? What about any teachers? Any teachers you want to shout out?
No.
Oh boy. That's okay. But Joel, keep going strong. And I know that you will move up. What's the next belt after green? You know what's the next color?
Purple.
Purple, so you're moving towards getting for the purple belt, right?
Yeah.
Excellent. Good work.
I'm sure you'll get to the point where you're eventually teaching the classes like you want.
Yeah.
Just
Good
keep
work.
it up. So we're gonna move on to Leah Goodwin here. So how long have you been involved in karate?
4 years.
4 years now. And you've been enjoying it ever since?
Yeah.
Excellent.
How did it feel training with your aunt in the beginning?
It was fun because I got individual attention and I got to train with my cousin.
Oh, that's
Train
lovely.
the cousin. Excellent. So that individual attention got you more practice time, made you get a lot better, yeah?
Yeah.
Excellent. So what has been the most challenging part of your karate journey so far?
When I was an orange belt, I had to stop karate for a whole term because my mother did not want to drive me there.
She didn't want to take you to practice.
No, because I had other activities.
So there's a lot of activities going on. So the time management was a bit of a difficulty.
Yeah.
You had to convince her to take you back eventually?
No, I convinced my aunt Sensei Iza to carry me instead.
Oh, okay.
So she brings
you
you
found a
now.
way around it.
Perfect.
What does the karate phrase refrain from violent behavior mean to you in your everyday life?
At school, I have to remind myself not to be violent with my classmates because they're always annoying me.
So you have to keep that composure sometimes.
Yeah.
Of course. And what school do you attend?
I go to Post Millennial Academy.
Post Millennial Academy, perfect. How do you balance your schoolwork at Post Millennial Academy with your karate training?
Well, I learned how to manage my time better, and like as soon as I get home, I finish my homework and I study in the morning instead of the afternoon time.
Perfect. So you have it all worked out already, yeah? And what motivates you to keep going?
I want to always be a higher belt than my cousin.
It's a competition, man.
Yeah.
What color of one belt is your cousin now?
Green.
Green, and your purple say higher up than him?
Yeah.
Perfect.
So last question we have here for you. What are you most excited about as you work towards becoming a black belt and possibly competing in a regional tournament?
I'm looking forward to learning the different kind of moves and techniques and how to spar differently.
Okay, that's what we like to hear, yeah.
Excellent.
Thank you so much, guys, for being here. I wish you both the best going forward in your karate careers, and we'll be right back.
Sports Show.
We would like to thank the sponsors of Generation Next, Fruta, Antigua Masonry Products, Kenneth A. Gomez Insurance Agency, Island Photo, and Francis Trading Agency.
GN Sports Show.
And welcome back to the GN Sports Show, where we dive deep into youth sports, health, and performance. I'm your host, Jonathan, and with me is my co-host, Jayden. And today we have a fascinating discussion lined up on a topic often overlooked: the role of massage and reflexology therapy in supporting children and adolescents involved in competitive sports. Speaking with this, I would like to welcome back Dr. Rick, who will be speaking with us about these topics today. Welcome, Dr. Rick.
Thank you.
Welcome
Thank
back.
you. Good to be back. Good to be back. Good seeing you guys. Yes, reflexology and massage. Everybody knows a little bit about massage, but
What Dr. Rick, we all know what massages are,
Yeah,
but
right.
what is reflexology?
yeah, well, it's a little complicated, but the best example I can give you would be, have you heard of acupuncture?
Yes.
So in acupuncture, what do? They put needles
Yes.
and sometimes electricity through the needles and certain points on your skin throughout your whole body. There are these lines in your body they call meridians.
Meridians.
And these meridians are connected, we think, to nerves. Of course they are. And they produce reflexes all over the body, but they require needles or electricity. In reflexology, you're using points on the body. They're not the same points as the acupuncture points. They might be. There's probably some overlap, but we really don't know. There hasn't been enough research on it. But instead of using the needles, instead of using electricity, you just use your hand. So it's a form of massage.
Okay.
You know, it's a form of deep massage where you press deeply in these points. And so you can even go on Wikipedia and look up reflexology, and it'll show you a picture of a foot. And on the foot, there'll be different points, and those points will relate to different organs within your body.
Yes.
It's amazing. Not just the foot, there's also points on the hands and the ears they use.
And is that because that's where we have the most nerves in our bodies, why they use these certain
We
areas? or
really,
what?
oh, you're asking an amazingly difficult question. We really don't know.
Right. Okay.
All we know is that it works.
Okay.
You know?
Yes, yes.
So it's a form of massage, and it has its history way back in the early Roman and Greek civilizations. Just like acupuncture, they have a very similar history. And for thousands of years it's been used, and it works, but nobody really knew how it worked. For example, acupuncture. We're just learning now
Yes.
how it worked, but it's been used in Chinese medicine for thousands of years.
Yep.
There are people who undergo surgery, a deep body surgery into their abdomens without any anesthesia, without any drugs,
Wow.
just with acupuncture.
That's amazing.
You know, so it has obviously some potent effects.
Yep.
So if we think about massage, I want you to think about how you feel when your muscles get tight. Your muscles ever gotten tight?
Yes, of course.
And when you press these muscles, did you ever find knots?
Yes.
Yes.
Muscle knots.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, you see, especially after working out, right?
Yeah.
Very hard. These muscle knots. So what massage does, if you do deep tissue massage properly, it gets rid of all of those knots. So what are those knots? Those are points of inflammation. And they relate to the place where nerves and the muscles connect. We call them motor end plates. Motor end plates, where the nerves and muscles connect. And those are the place that we call them myofascial points, or myofascial trigger points. That's the better word, trigger points, because they trigger slight contractions of muscles. And if it's just slight and it goes away, it's not a big deal. But if somebody has a lot of stress, now those myofascial trigger points remain for a long period of time. They just don't come and go, they remain. And that's when they produce those knots. You see?
Those
Yes.
muscle knots.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so somebody who's doing massage properly for sports can identify those knots. You could actually feel them. And I think you can feel them in yourself sometimes.
Of
Yes,
course.
of
Right?
Yes. Yeah.
Especially your neck. Oh my God, when you're under stress and you're sitting over a computer all day, your neck gets very tight. Mine especially back here.
Yeah.
And so a massage therapist will deeply massage those and gradually, roll it out. They'll roll out the knot.
Yes.
You see? So what is the knot? The knot is this inflammation that's built up for, because there's chemicals there. Like you've heard of lactic acid.
Of course, I was just about to ask that. Would we get those knots because of
Yes, there's a lot of lactic acid there, and also produces pain.
Yes,
because
of
there's
course.
pain receptors there.
Yes.
So what we want to do is we want to get rid of them. And so the massage does it. Well, how does the massage do it? It stimulates the blood flow. So those knots are places in the muscle where we have proteins. And those proteins are called actin and myosin. You probably heard of actin and myosin if you had a biology course in high school or college. That's what makes up the muscle.
Yeah.
And for a muscle to contract, these actin and myosin are filaments that have to slide by each other. And when they slide by each other, to create a contraction, to create force, so you can actually do work, lift a weight, or create a skill with your muscles, they produce cross bridges between the actin and myosin, and they slide like this. And so these actin and myosin filaments are working like a motor, like this.
Yeah.
And the cross bridges have to be made and broken, made and broken, made and broken. Well, remember what ATP is?
I remember speaking about it, if I remember exactly what it is.
Yeah, it's the battery juice of the cell.
Right.
It's metabolic energy. So when your muscles run out of ATP or this metabolic energy, they don't slide anymore. They get stiff. And that contributes to these knots. You see?
Okay.
Yeah.
So what do we have to do in massage? We massage to stimulate the blood flow.
Right.
And the blood flow brings more oxygen. And when you bring more oxygen, now you make more ATP.
Yes.
And you get rid of the lactic acid and the buildup of these toxic products that are producing the pain.
Pain, yeah.
So the key is to stimulate blood flow.
Stimulate blood flow.
Yeah. Massage also stimulates our immune system. Yeah, our immune system, because when you do deep massage properly, there's another circulation, not just our blood circulation, but a lymph circulation, L-Y-M-P-H, lymph circulation. This lymph circulation is the circulation to our lymph nodes.
Yes.
And our lymph nodes all over our body are controlling our immune responses. And so we get better immune responses from massage. We get rid of the pain. We get better blood flow to the muscles.
Yes.
The muscles aren't so tight. The person becomes more agile. They're not so stiff. I mean, all of that is good, and it promotes recovery, especially for athletes who have to compete, let's say, 1 or 2 days later. The massage is going to help them recover faster.
Yes.
Yes, of
You
course.
see?
So the massage also has a lot of good benefits.
Yes,
As you've spoken
yes.
about. Is there any disadvantages of having massages or reflexology?
Not really. I mean, you have to be careful, especially with children.
Yeah.
Yes.
That that it's somebody who knows what they're doing. But parents even know their children
Yes.
can actually massage their bodies. Probably there's not a lot of that going on, but it's a good idea.
Yeah.
And it doesn't have to be deep, and you don't have to know much about it. Actually, just touching the skin,
Is it a massage?
yeah, is kind of a massage.
Wow.
Do you know that just touching the skin will block pain? I'll give you an example. When you had an injury, when you were a kid, and you ran to mommy crying,
Yeah.
what did mommy do?
Hug you.
She hold you, she hug you,
She hugged you, she touched you, and she
Yeah.
kissed.
Yes.
She kissed your boo-boo.
Yeah. That's right. Yeah.
Mommy, kiss my boo-boo. And guess what? Didn't the pain go away?
Instantly.
Exactly. and people think, oh, that's just psychological. No, that's not psychological. Actually, touching the skin blocks the pain signals from going up to the brain.
Wow.
And so you don't, if there's actually an injury there, you don't get rid of the injury, but you lessen the pain signal that goes up there, so the pain isn't appreciated or perceived as much.
Wow.
So so just touching your child, or just touching yourself, or just touching anybody, a friend, a loved one, is helpful. So for example, in reflexology, there's a lot of touching involved. In massage, there's a lot of touching involved.
Yeah.
babies in intensive care units who've been very, very sick, if they don't get held and touched, their brains don't develop properly.
Wow.
Because at an early age, that child is supposed to be touched by their mother, right? You've seen animals grooming each other.
Yes, of course.
That touch is so important.
Yeah.
There are receptors in our skin that are sensitive to that are controlling our emotional balance and whether or not we're in fight, flight, or we're in a rest, digest mode. Remember, the sympathetic system is our emergency system. So massage and all of this stuff reduces that stress and decreases activity of the sympathetic nervous system. Now, I'll tell you something interesting about reflexology. So recent studies have shown that babies in the hospital or babies who suffer from this condition called colic.
Okay.
Colic. Colic is this intense contraction of their intestines, right?
Yes.
And it's usually because of, it could be in an allergic response. They're allergic to some of the food or milk that they've taken in, right? Or there's actually something wrong with their intestines. So there are many causes why a child will scream for hours sometimes because it's so painful, right? And even feeding them won't help them sometimes.
Yeah.
And of course, sometimes feeding them does make it go away because they were having the colic because those are hunger pains. Weren't you ever hungry where you had pains in your stomach?
Of course.
Well, this is just more intense. So recent studies have shown that this reflexology I'm talking about, when it's done in the hospital in the babies who have colic, make the colic pain go away.
Wow.
They lessen the colic pain. So it's actually a treatment.
Yeah.
So again, we have to think about this touching and massaging and this reflexology possibly having a real important role
On our daily lives. As
complementary medicine.
Yeah.
Wow. A complementary mode of medicine, something that we're not used to doing, but maybe we ought to think about it. So maybe the parents out there should be thinking about, after their children have been through tough workouts and whatever, massaging them a little bit. And again, you don't have to be an expert in it to just touch the skin and roll the skin. And by the way, there are these special rollers you ever see those muscle rollers?
Yes,
I do.
Right? Those are very good too for getting rid of the lactic acid in those trigger points.
And what about, I've seen a massage gun. They have these massage guns now as well that they use for athletes. Those are as well.
Right. But you have to be more careful with those because they can be very strong. If you don't use them properly, they can injure you.
So you'd want to make sure you have a trained professional to use the massage.
Well, not so much a trained professional. You just need training yourself and make sure you follow the instructions.
Yes, not hit a certain spine cord or whatever.
Yes, exactly.
Of course. Okay.
So speaking more about integrating massage into training, how should parents and coaches think about integrating massages into a child's training schedule?
Yeah, well, again, it would be on an individual basis, but depending on the sport and depending on the child, if the child is amenable to it, of course, you have to remember, we have to be careful about touching children and how we handle that these days.
Of course.
So it has to be with the parents really should be doing it. If you're talking about children. Now, if you're talking about adolescents and young adults, that might be a little bit different as long as the parents know and the person is trained. That's fine. But it should be something that at least should be looked into, I think.
I think so.
In terms of recovery, taking away the stress of sports. Sports very stressful for some kids, especially the ones that are highly competitive. And I'm sure they're very tight sometimes, and they don't know how to relieve it. And so that's,
And actually, we get that all the time. We still play football every now and again, and
me too. And I play tennis and whatever. Well, I get a massage every week, actually.
You need to start doing that. I get these pains in my legs, and
we don't even play that often anymore. But some of these athletes are overtraining at some point, and this can help them a lot.
Exactly.
With that recovery process.
Oh, exactly. Yeah, and you have to remember, no matter what sport you're doing, you're not using your muscles all the time.
Yeah.
You're not using all the muscles. You're only using certain groups of muscles. Well, what are the other muscles doing?
Yeah.
So massaging the other muscles could help develop that muscle tone in those muscles.
Okay.
And the ones that don't get as much of a workout. At least increasing the blood flow to it and
To that muscle.
getting growth factors. You have to remember, when we increase oxygen to the muscle, it also brings nutrients and growth factors with it.
Yeah.
And so it helps the muscles grow.
To grow.
Yeah.
That's amazing. That's absolutely amazing, Dr. Rick. There's a lot of information for us to take in about this
Yes.
reflexology. As we say, we know about massages, but
Yes.
there's a lot of new
Well, now you know
information.
more about massages and what they do and how beneficial they can be. And I don't know much about reflexology either, to be honest with you. I'm not an expert on it.
Yeah.
Yes.
But I've experienced it, and it really does work. I've experienced acupuncture too. I prefer the reflexology to acupuncture because they don't have to put needles in your
Needles,
skin.
yes.
You know,
And use electricity,
And
as you said,
it
yeah.
works very well.
That is excellent.
Okay, so maybe after the show, I'll show you how you do it on your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah, because I've seen some stuff online where
Yes.
they have like a pad.
Oh.
And it has certain objects that push out of this pad, and when you step on it, it's supposed to hit certain nerves on the bottom
Oh,
of
I
your
haven't
foot
seen that.
that touch certain.
Oh,
I've seen
I
it
have
and
to
I've
look
never
into
tried
it.
it because you see these things on the internet sometimes.
have to
they
look
don't
into
work,
it.
So, yeah. So I thought maybe that would be something to look into, since we were talking about
Right.
the nerves.
But
on the
better would be person to person.
person to person.
to
Actual.
person, yeah.
Yeah.
But you have to know the right points and all of that. It's not that difficult.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not that difficult. I think anybody can learn it. But of course for yourself.
Yeah.
Then of course it's always best to have a licensed, well-trained professional to teach you.
Yep. A masseuse or
Yes, exactly.
therapist.
So is-
Yes. Plus you can't. It's not when you massage yourself. It's not the same as
Yeah,
somebody
it's-
else.
it's not.
Correct. Exactly.
Yes, and you can't get all the places you need to get.
No, sometimes,
You know?
especially in the back, in those
Yeah.
areas, you need
Like I'm
somebody.
doing it right now. Oh, that feels so good.
So are there any reflexologists here in Antigua that you know of?
There are a few.
Yeah.
I know one, and I'm going to bring her on the show one day.
Yes.
Yes, I'll bring her on the show one day, and we'll interview her. She just
course.
came from England,
Okay.
and she hasn't opened up her practice here yet. She's, I guess,
Getting
getting the
started.
paperwork
Getting
done.
everything together,
But I'll
yeah.
bring her. Yeah.
That's lovely.
There are reflexologists,
Yeah.
and of course massage therapists
Yeah, I know we have a couple of
all
them
over
here.
the island.
Yes, of
There's
course.
one at AUA.
Yes.
And I think they advertise kind of widely.
There's a couple of them around. I've seen around Antigua for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, Dr. Rick, again, incredible insights today, as we said before, a lot of information for us to take in. But do you have any final words for any coaches or parents who are out there listening?
Yes, of course. Think about using massage therapy with a trained massage therapist first, with your athlete or yourself after athletics, because it helps you recover. And it takes away pain. And if you can find a reflexologist, if you're having difficulty with trigger points, remember we said those knots in your muscles or trigger points, a good reflexologist or massage therapist will help you a lot.
Yep. So, Dr. Rick, we have a question from one of our viewers in the
Good.
audience.
Oh, we have an audience. That's wonderful.
Of course. What their question is, are there any at-home self-massage techniques one can do if they have these knots around their body?
Yes, so first of all, identifying them is not so simple, but that rolling pin I told you about,
Yes.
they call them muscle rollers or
Yes,
something. I don't really
yes.
know what they call them, but you can get them online, Amazon, I'm sure, all over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they're not expensive. So you can do that on yourself. And sometimes hot showers.
Hot showers.
Hot showers, very nice warm showers will relax the muscles and massage yourself. The heat will help take it away. However, if it's constant, if it is something that's really bothering you and gives you stiff necks, let's say when you wake up in the morning and all of that, or after sitting using a computer all day, your neck gets stiff. Most of that you would not be able to handle yourself.
Yeah.
You would need a massage therapist.
So there are some things that you can do at home, but then there's
Yes.
others. So if it gets too severe, you have to.
That's
take it
right.
to
If
the
you're
next
really,
level.
if it's constant pain and whatever, you're probably not going to help yourself very much, unless you go to a massage therapist and they do it, and then they train you on how to do it.
at home.
That's my recommendation.
Yeah.
I've used the massage rollers before after football practices on my hamstrings and my
Yes,
calves.
me too.
It helps a lot.
Yes, yes,
it
it does. But you know what it's doing? It's stimulating the blood flow. And it's
Yeah.
getting rid of that lactic acid buildup
yes.
that's causing the inflammation and the pain.
Yes. Okay.
That's excellent, excellent. So again, Dr. Rick, we'd like to thank you for taking the time to be here on the GN Sports Show with us.
I love
We
it, I love it.
appreciate it. You know, every week we come out and we learn something new. It's absolutely excellent, Dr. Rick. We really appreciate it.
Okay, well,
Thank
we'll
you so
continue to do this. I'll think of another topic for next week.
Of course,
Perfect.
of course. So those who are watching, the viewers, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share to this episode. We'll be right back.
GN Sports Show.
And with that, we have come to the end of our 5th episode of Season 3 of the GN Sports Show. We really hope you enjoyed this week's episode.
Please make sure to stay tuned and subscribe to our YouTube channel. Until next time, this is the GN Sports Show.
Sports Show. Interviews, insights, dreams taking flight. We show them how to handle the spotlight, preparing them for the journey ahead, building confidence, the words left unsaid. From the grassroots to the national scene, young athletes chasing every dream. In every game, there's a story to tell. GN Sports Show, we know them well. GN Sports, where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow, making waves today. From ages 5 and up, we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. GN Sports Show. Interviews where the youth lead the way. Champions of tomorrow, making waves today. From ages 5 and up, we help them grow. It's their time to shine on the GN Sports Show. GN Sports.